Hello and good evening to the Sparkle Hour today without Kelly in at the moment. Hope she's going to join us afterwards. She has a bit of a issue right now. So I just put now, as we said, we have this beautiful Christmas decoration for today.
Love it.
And today it is my pleasure and really honor to welcome Kathy Tagenel, who is the CEO of the Go Giver Alliance and the Go Giver Burg Communication, actually, the Chief Operating Officer. And we're going to talk a bit about the Go Giver Success Alliance today as well, and what is the Go Giver books by Bob Burg, and as well, obviously, the movement, which I am a member of, and I'm so proud to be a member. And there are people already coming in here with hearts and likes, which is really nice. Welcome, Kathy. How are you doing today?
Oh, thank you, Chris. It's such an honor to be with you. Been really looking forward to this. So thank you.
Thank you for being here. How is the weather in Florida right now? I mean, like me sitting here in the UK, it's freezing cold. But...
Do you really want me to share that it's like 77 and sunny out?
Oh my God. How nice is that?
Here.
I would love to be there right now. I tell you that. It's just getting, I mean, I don't mind the cold, to be very honest, but okay. At the moment it's really, it's a bit nasty as well, because we had some snow and some rain, and it's just like always this mixture, which I really don't like. I don't mind when it's really snowing and it's cold. It's really this getting into the Christmas feeling, and Christmas is one of my favorite holidays beside of Halloween. And I love Halloween.
Oh, Halloween's great. I do love Thanksgiving too.
I do like Thanksgiving. Here in the UK, very well, we do Thanksgiving. Well, some people, it has become actually tradition more here in the UK now that people do Thanksgiving, but it's not as big as the US. And as you know, I grew up in the States, and obviously I love Thanksgiving. I was told you the other day I was going for a turkey, and they had like about, what, 70 pounds? And I'm like, really? Are you ridiculous right now? But it's obviously the prices go up when these holidays happen. So, you know. Now, Kathy, tell me a bit about the Go Giver Alliance and the Go Giver. I know I have one of the books here, which is my favorite one, not the red one. I love the Go Giver Influencer because it is so important for me as a motivational speaker and how to see that. And what is the Go Giver?
Sure. Well, I'll grab mine. So it all started with the little red book, The Go Giver by Bob Burg and John David Mann, the amazing co-author and lead writer of the story. It is just this amazing story that shares the 5 laws of stratospheric success. It's the timeless principles. I love how Bob always says he and John didn't come up with anything new, but what they did was how they put it together, and how it helps us understand that all 5 laws have to be at work in order for us to truly be successful. And do you want me to share the 5 laws?
Yes, please do that.
Sure. So first is the law of value, that your true worth is determined by, I just got it wrong. When you have to sit and think here, that you're, good grief.
You know, Kathy, I make your life easy. Should we show the video? There's a great video that explains it, and we can show everybody the lovely video. Let's do that, because I forgot as well to show the intro video. So he's like, because I see you and I'm so happy to see you, so I forgot the intro video with us. But let me do that, and I'm going to share the Go Giver video, which I think explains it fantastically, and then we talk a bit about it. I love it. That's why it's live, but you know, that's how great it is. Just 1 second. Here goes the video.
Meet Joe, an ambitious young man who yearns for success. Sound familiar? Maybe you know someone like Joe. He's aggressive, relatively successful, and determined to reach the top. A real go-getter. But something is missing. Something that has caused him to be not nearly as financially successful and internally fulfilled as he knows he could be. One day, Joe is fortunate to be introduced to a man named Pindar, known by some of the most highly successful people in the world simply as the chairman. Over the next week, Joe meets some of Pindar's former proteges, who are extremely financially and personally successful. With Joe, they share the 5 laws of stratospheric success. They explain to Joe that if used together, these somewhat counterintuitive 5 laws will lead him to huge success, as it did for them. It only makes sense because these are the same laws people have used in order to be successful in any market-based economy. The law of value. Your true worth is determined by how much more you give in value than you take in payment. The law of compensation. Your income is determined by how many people you serve and how well you serve them. The law of influence. Your influence is determined by how abundantly you place other people's interests first. The law of authenticity. The most valuable gift you have to offer is yourself. The law of receptivity. The key to effective giving is to stay open to receiving. But like any ambitious young man, Joe first challenges these laws before applying them. The law of value, he thinks. This sounds like a recipe for bankruptcy. That sounds reasonable. After all, how does one give more in value than they take in payment and still make a profit? How is value measured? Joe learns that while price is a set dollar figure and finite, value is the relative worth or desirability of a thing to the end user or beholder. So, in other words, what is it about this product or service that brings so much value that a person will willingly exchange their money for it and be ecstatic about it? For example, if Joe hired an accountant to do his tax returns and she charges him $1,000 for her fee or price, when she saves him $5,000 in taxes, hours of work, and provides peace of mind and security that it was done correctly, she gives Joe value far beyond the $1,000. She gives Joe more in value than she took in payment. Joe feels terrific about it, and the accountant makes a very healthy profit. Joe learns quickly the kind of relationship he wants to have with anyone with whom he does business. He discovers how to shift from getting to giving, constantly and consistently providing value to others. This new focus allows Joe to experience a fulfilling way to live while profiting financially as well. Moving from an I or me focus to an other focus is one of the most profitable things a person, especially ambitious Joe, can ever do. Here's the thing. Money is an echo of value. It's the thunder to value's lightning. In other words, value comes first, and the money is simply the natural and direct result of the value provided. The law of value proves to be a good start for Joe, but it's only a start. As important as it is, it represents only his potential income. But tying together the other 4 laws with the first creates the real transformation for Joe. Things improve rapidly. Making money appears effortless, and the returns, excitingly unexpected. These laws can do the same for you, just as they did for Joe and for so many of today's hugely successful leaders, entrepreneurs, and salespeople. Join Joe, along with his mentors, Pindar, Ernesto, Nicole, Sam, Deborah, Rachel, and of course, Gus, and be delighted by this quick, easy-to-read story about a powerful business idea. Actually, a powerful life idea. Enter your name below to receive the first chapter of The Go-Giver.
And we are actually 3 now.
Yay! So sorry.
No, that
Hi,
is all right,
Kathy.
Kellyanne. That is fantastic. Kellyanne, meet Kathy. Kathy,
Oh,
meet
lovely to meet
Kellyanne.
you.
Nice to meet you. And we have already a few comments, so let me just put that comments right now. Here he's got like, I love it. Estelle has put so many messages, and this is wonderful, and then I love that. Kathy, please adopt me.
Oh,
And it's like so true. I was thinking of so many times. And I'm in the cold. Yes, yeah, I know. So here you go. It's like our lovely, lovely, lovely Estelle, who is as well a Go-Giver, actually, in the Go-Giver Alliance as well. And we had already here as our guest on the Sparkler, I think 2 weeks ago. I think Estelle was here, or 2 or 3 weeks ago, right? And it was really, really nice day. So yeah,
I learned so much. You guys had a fabulous conversation with Estelle.
oh, fantastic! Thank you very much. And it's like I'm just going to try to get my sound here. It was again gone. Sometimes, oops, I'm lost I lost sound completely right now. I don't know. I have that the other day. Lights and everything. There's something with electricity going on. Luckily, I didn't lose the computer. Let me see. Because that would have been funny now. But you see, this is the fun between in here
right.
actually.
Do over. I have my claws with me now.
Can anybody say something? I don't hear anything of you right now.
Kelly, can you hear?
Yeah, I can hear everyone.
Hold on a second. Okay, one more time.
Gotta love technology.
I
know.
cycle through it.
It always happens to us as well. It's hilarious. It's like a running joke now.
I'm coming back. No, it's not. I hear nothing. Give me a minute. Come in, you talk. This is the day. It always happens to me.
Oh, bless you. Yeah, it's it's your energy, Chris.
So.
You've got too much energy on the go. That's what it is. You're zapping it from the computers.
All right. I can see now. It's actually back. I hear you again. Sorry for
Cool.
that. It just went out again for some reason. I think there is an issue with either the light or the actual sound bar that is just causing that. And every time. And the other day, I actually had my entire computer started to flicker, and then it just turned off everything. So I think that the sound bar is messing up a bit. And I'm trying to find a place where I'm sitting right. Here you go. And I don't hear you again. That's really. Let me switch. No. That's all right. You just go ahead and you chat around. I do something else right now. I'm just going to decide. I'm going to switch to my little earbuds.
Oh, bless you. Yeah, I'm not sure what I've missed actually. So I've been sat on the phone to the bank for 2 hours.
There you go.
Oh my gosh,
it's just Kelly and we laughing. It's always the
nightmare.
Same thing.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Oh. Yeah.
No, I can hear you now.
Was that another technical issue with the bank, or?
Yeah, well, it's partly, should I say, partly my eldest son's fault for putting a payment through of £240 that has gone nowhere.
Oh no.
So yeah, it is what it is. But fingers crossed, they'll look into it and get it back. But it just takes so long. I'm here now, though.
I had that the other day. They stopped my car. I had to stop my car because I was getting a deduction. It wasn't that much. Well, not that much. $90 out of Singapore, and it's just really weird. But eventually, I got it back. But it's a pain. You have to go in the UK. They're really complicated. They want but are you sure you didn't buy anything? And I'm like, yeah, not in Singapore. I've been in Singapore for 2 years. So, Jesus Christ. What the hell? Maybe on the internet. And I said, yeah, but I didn't order anything from the internet. My shopping spree is definitely Amazon, not anything else. And I don't think they from Singapore, do they? I was just a nightmare. You just don't ask. Anyway, we are back in normal, and as I said, it wouldn't be Kellyanne and me if there was not something not going well. Actually, last week it was great. We had no issue whatsoever. It was really funny.
Make up for it this week.
Yeah, see, it's like we have to have that. It's the internal joke between us all the time. Yeah. So, great. So, I hope I helped you, Kathy, with the explanation.
Yeah. Thank you. Of course, I did remember before the video.
Of course, you did. But I
did such a better job than I could do going through the 5. Kelly and we went through the 5 laws of strategy.
Oh, brilliant!
This video. So it's we did that many years ago. It still applies. It's just that we've had over 1 million copies sold. I think it says only 250. So that's how old it is.
Wow.
Yeah, but I think it's a very good video because it explains it really quick. And now obviously it takes Bob's favorite example and I love the example with the accountant, because people go like, yeah, but that is you're going to bankruptcy if you do like this, but you don't even understand that. And I really love that. I love that the way how it is explained, because people don't think about that the way, and it's always like how we always have presumptions on things. Actually, when you hear something, oh, I'm giving more than I talk back. But I have my own. We talked about it in the Go Giver Alliance, which we have every Wednesday. We do have a call with Bob, and where I talked about how amazing that is. And when I shifted my own business towards being a Go Giver, how much suddenly people reached out to me that I didn't even contact, and it was just like Kelly and I, we talk a lot about the influence on the universe, and I think we already talked about that, Kathy, as well, in a personal call where we say, like, the universe is so vast, and how can we believe that there's not a superior power somehow, whatever you call it? It doesn't matter. Some people have like a religious belief. We talked about aliens. We said, like, how arrogant are we? How arrogant are we that we don't believe in aliens because this universe is so vast? It's like, how can we believe that little sand grain we are here in the middle of this thing? We are the only intelligent.
That's twirling.
The intelligent being. Now, Kathy, how did you get to the Go-Giver? I would like to ask you. How did it happen? How did you meet Bob? I've never really asked you, and I really would like to hear your story. How you get involved with it.
The stars sort of aligned. I had been a huge fan of Endless Referrals. This was before the Go-Giver even came out. I think I read it in 2005 because I have the white version of the Endless Referrals. So in my marketing company, I was always, quoting Bob, sharing his quotes from the books, and his whole system was how I had developed my own business, which was Zoom Strategies, the marketing firm that I've had since 2004. And it was in 2006 that Bob had emailed my business partner at the time, wanting us to promote a live event he was having. And I was like, wow, Bob, reached out to us. He had been a member of a networking directory that my partner and I had started many years ago. I just kind of had forgotten that was the same Bob Burg that I was quoting. So we ended up promoting his event, going to it. So that was when I met him. That was in 2007 in Florida. And then fast forward, the Go-Giver was coming out at the end of 2007. And he and Bob and his business partner sent out a note saying, would anyone like to host a live event? That Bob would come out and do his Endless Referrals program live as a way to help kick off the new book. And I'm like, did you come to Albuquerque? I was living in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Now that's a word to learn to spell, Albuquerque. Great place. I loved it out there. And they're like, sure, sell 200 tickets, line up sponsors, and we'll be there. And I was like, sure. I've never done that before, but I'm bringing Bob Burg to Albuquerque. And so I set about, lining up my sponsors, selling tickets. And 2 months into it, my event was going to be the end of March, and it was the beginning of February. And his business partner reached out to me and said, hey, would you like to do this for us nationwide? We have so many people interested. We can't handle it. And you seem to know what you're doing. And I'm like, don't you want me to have the event first to make sure that I do know what I'm doing? And they're like, no, we think you could, we know you can do it. And I was like, and I was determined. So I did have my event. We had 200 people. It was fabulous. Bob is just amazing for anyone who's seen him in person. And we went on to do 11 live events that year as part of what we call our City Partner program, which is a public event where we partner with somebody for Bob to come in and do his presentation. So that started our work together, and it just grew over the years until I pretty much became his business partner in 2013. And so it was there, not in the writing of the book, but once it was launched, and really helping to grow the movement and build the brand with him. And it has been a true joy. He is the genuine Go-Giver. He really does live his message, and it's such an honor to be able to work with him and learn from him.
And that is amazing, because you're bringing up a really good point here, Kathy. One of the things is, like, so today I wrote the copy for that I invited you today, and then Bob, and that's why I say with his, which always amazes me. And I talked to Lisa on the show the other day, and I said, I have read a lot of books in my life, and I'm constantly reading. I mean, I buy every month on Amazon probably 20 books, and it's a thing. I don't. It's a thing, but I can never ever manage the amount of books Bob reads, because I think he is just stunning in that point. The time he finds, as he finds actually, and actually the one thing that really impressed me, Bob, is his wisdom on every aspect of the thing. So there was recently we had in the Clubhouse, I think it was Clubhouse, where you spoke about Bob, and you got really emotional, which I really appreciated. Yeah, I remember really, and I'm honest to you, I was really touched by that, because
Thank you.
when you talked about how these last 12 years have been for you and how much you appreciate Bob. Now, why I'm saying that, because today Bob reached out to me on LinkedIn in a message, in a personal message, and he said to me, and he said, "My dear buddy, can I make a suggestion? I hope it's not, I'm not pretentious here, actually. Do you look, and as I say, the woman behind the man? Actually, it's not making credit to Kathy, because she is the woman beside the man. And would you mind? It's your copy, but would
Yeah.
you mind to change that?" And I did actually change it, because I said to Bob then in return, I said, "That is your wisdom, Bob." Because
Well,
actually, when I was reading the copy,
that's gonna make me cry.
see, when I was reading the copy, something was off for me, but I couldn't put my finger on it. But it's like how it's the typical saying, the woman behind the man, right? And that's how it came out when I typed it. But he is so, his wisdom there, and I mean, he puts it so well, because you're way more than behind him, and it wouldn't make you, it wouldn't give you any credit to be actually saying you're behind him, because you are beside him and you are a true partner to him in the business. And the Success Alliance is your brainchild, pretty much, and I have to say that. And I'm so impressed how much wisdom you have as well when I hear you talk, and in the calls, or even on Clubhouse, how much wisdom you bring yourself to the table. And yes, you're maybe not part in the writing of the book, but you're definitely the integral driving force behind the movement, or nowadays, with Bob bringing the message, but you driving it forward and granting it. And I have to be honest, I was really impressed with him today again. He impressed me again, man. He always impresses me every time I talk to him, actually. So
He is, like I said, he's the genuine go-giver, and that's so touching that he would reach out and say that. And it has been my honor to be working with him, and I appreciate that he says, besides, I've never felt like I needed the spotlight. My role has, been doing what I do best, which is, developing the programs. And I love the one-on-one and the small groups, like our the Beyond the Mastermind event that we host, of the Go Giver Entrepreneurs Academy. So that's where I thrive, and have felt like, my role is to help him shine where he does best, where he's just magical in communicating this message to everyone.
But yeah, I'm sorry, you're actually undermining yourself there a bit. I tell you that, because you have as much, and I think Bob will agree with me here. I haven't even dared to ask him to become guest on our show. I really would love to, but I don't dare for some reason. I don't dare.
Please do. He would be happy to be on your show.
It's like, really, I mean, it's like there's David and Matthew I want to bring on as well, because they're amazing people that drive the movement forward as well. As much we all, and I mean, I've talked to Callian so many times about the Go Giver Alliance, and it comes always up, why I do believe it. And as I love in this video, what we were talking about is, people might think, oh, it's all about sales, it's about business, but it's not. It's about life. And that's how I see the go-giver, being a go-giver. It's about life, being genuine to people, and actually giving value to people first. And it is amazing how much you change with that, and how much you impact other people as well. So, that's why I'm saying it's just, every time you talk, and you talk not only about business, and especially you talk very much about your personal experiences and how it impacts other people, Kathy. You're reciting, you're not behind him, I have to be honest. And I really, really do appreciate that. Bob just reminded me of that today in a nice way, and I really appreciate it. And I said, thank you very much. I like your honesty and directness, and I really do appreciate, because as you said, he lives his message, where a lot of people write books, where you think like, great, they have a great message, but then they don't even live up to their own messages, which I find you don't see that with Bob. Bob really does care, and he appreciates and values and gives value to other people always. And that's what really impresses me. Anyway, this what brings me to a complete different question here, and that's because besides, and we talk about behind, women in business, and that's why I think Kellyanne, I want to bring you as well. I mean, me as a success coach and as coaching C-suite and executives, I still feel there is this unpresentness of C-suite level executives that are female. And we talk about discriminatory things that are still, even today, I think nowadays, even in 2021, I think, where women are overlooked in their career. In big corporations. Yes, there are corporations that have made the move. We had a chancellor in Germany that it was president for so many, or actually chancellor for so many years now, Angela, who's, we call her Mutti, nice mother, who is now finally, after I think 16 years, stepping down as a chancellor, which has been a great chancellor for the Federal Republic of Germany. Here's my German heritage that comes through sometimes. But, you know, we have seen really good leaders in the world that have been female. But I feel that there is still a lack of female C-suite executives sitting there. And why do you think that is, actually?
Well, one thought that came to mind, and why I'm not still in corporate, I spent 12 years working for large corporations like IBM and Ameritech. That wasn't the kind of environment that I thrived in. So I went out on my own to start my own business. And I think a lot of women, because I don't think the typical hierarchical structure of a corporation fits how women function.
Yeah, I would agree with that. So from my perspective, so I'm in the military.
Okay.
And it's slightly different in the corps that I'm in, because it is predominantly female heavy, because it's in nursing, healthcare assistance, all that kind of stuff. But at the same time, our core limit is, I think we've had one brigadier and maybe one or two colonels that are female. And above and beyond that, that is it. And it's changed a lot, obviously, over the last 20, 30 years, because at one point you had to leave if you were going to have a family and get married. And it has changed, but there's still something where people who have, a lot of the women that are at the top, from my opinion, are unmarried. Their children have been at boarding school for the whole of their careers, which I would never diss, because that's everybody's own personal choice. But again, I don't know. I feel like there's something missing, and they're doing a lot of work around sort of females being authentic within the military at the moment, because I know for my career, I've done nearly 19 years, and a lot of it has been me just fitting in with the boys. And it just, like you say, it just doesn't fit with the way that we work as women. I think it's really difficult, and I suppose you probably see that in most industries. It's
I find it interesting that he's saying that, because Kellyanne is a major, actually. So I mean, come on, she's undermining herself as well, you know, on the letter. But to be very honest, I see your point, and especially, but I do think, and that's what I can say, when I have worked with female CEOs or C-suite executives or higher up level executives, they were female. They bring so much different things to the table, especially emotional level. We have to be very honest here. Interaction with their employees, communication level, understanding their employees better, and even looking for the feedback from the employees, which I think sometimes with C-level executives on male versions are very, you know, they go their way, right? And they don't look left and right. While I find that there is this I personally believe female-run corporations are actually thriving better, and the employees are way happier because they do tend to look at the human side of the employer, of the business, basically. What do you think there on that one?
I think it could be, and you know, I really, respect men. I want to see the equality. I think we all bring something unique to the table. But as a woman, and I am not a mother, it didn't work out for me. But I think that as women, the nurturing aspect, we don't tend to, and I don't want to say this for all men, but a lot of men seem to be much more able to focus and compartmentalize. So there's work, family. As a woman, and I don't mean to speak for all women, but I think it's harder for us. That's just not how we naturally operate. It's all integrated. And I personally feel that that's how our world is evolving, to where there's going to be more of this integration of the work and our family life. It's not going to be so compartmentalized. And I believe that women, we really have a role to step up and lead the way, to see things more as, instead of a hierarchy, more of a heterarchy, where, when I was in corporations, I was always like, there's got to be like this more like ideal number of people to work together in a team. Because when you get too big, then you got all the bureaucracy that, you're trying to control it all. And I think we're going to see that there's going to be these more smaller teams of people working together, and then they're interconnected by other teams, instead of this monolithic, corporation trying to centrally control it all. It's just my own personal, from, what I'm thinking, what I see, what I think through my own experience of where I think we're heading.
Kellyanne, where do you think we're heading? I know Kellyanne has always a very clear vision on this.
I mean, I know where I'm heading. And it's not in the military. I think things have got so much better, but it just makes me really sad. I'll have to try and find you the link to see if you can watch this, but it's a lady who was, obviously from my perspective, is a little bit different in what we do, but she was, I think she was in the Australian Army for maybe 30-40 years. She did incredibly, and she's one of the ones that's really pushing. She has actually got a book out. I'll have to find that for you as well. We'll have to link it below. And it is all about being authentic within the military. But actually, the reason that she kind of developed that line was because she was sexually assaulted several times throughout her career. And that's like kind of a weird dynamic as well, that women in sort of certain positions have to kind of not put up with, but in the past they have done. And I feel like that is changing now a little bit. And I know that's kind of society wide, but I think sometimes that would suppress women from pushing themselves, because as soon as you start putting your head above the parapet, that's when you start getting attention from people that you don't want attention from. And that can be male and female, definitely. It doesn't have to be, from sort of the men. It can be from women as well. And I've seen that a lot, especially my corps. I mean, women don't always empower other women, should we say. And there is a degree of, not so much jealousy, but I've seen a lot of friction between women, especially when they're competing for higher grades and sort of pushing themselves for promotion, which I think it can be really difficult. But and I never used to see that from sort of the lower ranks. You don't really see it, but as soon as you start getting a bit higher up, you see the competitiveness between women in general. I think because we're such a female heavy corps, I see it more, whereas sort of bigger business would probably, well, perhaps be less female orientated. I do like to think, like I say, it is getting better, but we've got a long way to go. Long way to go.
Would you say that could be part and parcel to this hierarchy, that it only leaves a certain number of spots, whereas if we rethink how we structure, that there could be a lot more, leaders of these teams?
Yeah, 100%.
Chris?
Yeah.
Well, I think it's a really interesting conversation here, because obviously there are still companies in this world, and I mean even in the UK. I know there are laws now against equality, or actually of not having equality. But there are still corporations where you think, like when they hire, especially in the C-suites, where there is no fixed scale on the scale. When you look at the CEO that leaves the company was a male CEO and had this amount of salary a year he got. And then there comes a female CEO and she has like almost half of the salary that the previous CEO had. And was like, think like, this is kind of pathetic here, because she's doing the same job, or she's actually going to do a better job than that person. I just had recently a conversation with a female CEO where she said, this is kind of interesting. And she brought up a very interesting subject in that conversation, where she said to me, she's like, how much are we looking at diversity nowadays? And it's like saying, okay, being gay, being metrosexual, whatever you are, and how much we looking at the discrimination laws here. But then being a female, you either get blocked or you have to deal with something like that, because she said, I can see what the previous CEO had on his wages, right? She said, don't get me wrong, I accepted the job, I signed the contract, but it's even an insult that they even offered me that beginning, because at the moment when she left or she came, she didn't know what the previous CEO actually was earning. She looked at it when obviously she saw the books. And I thought it was a very interesting point here, because yes, right, we are in 2021. You know how the LGBTQ community has been really pushing for equality, and you don't get discriminated in the job of that one. And I find it, for me personally as a man, looking at that one, I said, how can it be that a woman is treated differently here still nowadays, where we are in this age? And obviously it has gotten better, because probably in the 70s and 80s, that was a different story here. I mean, you probably saw never or almost never a CEO at that level. We're looking now, people like, we talked the other day about it, Hillary Clinton becoming Secretary of State, which was, woman in this position, actually in holding this power position, actually for the United States, and even running for president, which she might have gotten. It doesn't matter what you think about her, but it's just when you look at what position she has held, that was probably in the 80s was Madeleine Albright. Well, fair enough. We could say she has been really strong woman, or Margaret Thatcher here in the UK. Yeah. But it was still a very rarity. It's still, I mean, we see an improvement there. But still, I find it really interesting that you look at the corporate platforms, how much percentage are actually female nowadays in the C-suites. And it's just really striking me. And it just recently did strike me. And today, when Bob said that, what he said to me, it really brought that back to me. It's like, it's really pathetic. It's actually pathetic, because I do think that a man is not smarter nor is dumber than a woman. You see, that's what it is. To be very honest here, to put it into simple terms. Yeah. But it's just impressive. Even I think with businesses, entrepreneurs, I always have the impression that women don't tend to take this next step themselves. And is it because of their own undervalue, or they undervaluing themselves even, where they think they can't do it? They don't think they can thrive in a man-dominated business or whatever it is. And I find it's very interesting. And that brings the second question for me, actually. Is it as well maybe sometimes your interior workings, how you approach it, or even is it in a subconscious, this sitting there, that you undervalue yourself actually as a woman? I know Kellyanne doesn't undervalue herself, so I know that she's going like, I'll go for it.
Yes, and I think I can't speak for everyone, but I think we each have our own unique set of issues that I like to say that we grow through what we go through, and we all have, our own situations. I know I'm having to work on my own. I've gotten much better, but there were areas where I didn't value myself, and have really needed to work on that. So I think that each individual, I try not to just paint it as man versus women. I don't want to pit people. I think each as individuals, share with everyone, each person has their unique gifts that they have, that they are here to share with the world. And that's what I want to help people do, is to just, if they don't already know it, define them and appreciate them and give them. It starts with giving those gifts, and it will come back to you. Be open and receive.
And you're actually exactly saying that. Brings us. That's why it's a nice cycle. We coming here back. It brings it back to the Go Giver message, basically, where we say, the most valuable gift you can give is yourself, and that's what it's all about. It's not about business itself, and as I said, that's why I said it's more a life mantra actually for yourself, and that's how I see the Go Giver message and the Go Giver movement as well, and to get people to understand that they have so much value, which we all undervalue ourselves anyway, because we all have, and I'm very big on procrastination and things like that, where it comes from. It is actually most of the time of our limiting beliefs, obviously, or fear or failure, or even us talking to ourselves and saying, well, I'm the dreamer, I have the big goal, but then I don't take the action on it. And I think it's really the truth, because we so undervalue ourselves and what we have to give most of the time. And when you realize that you are the biggest gift, actually, and you might help, and it doesn't matter if you're helping 20 people, hundreds or thousands or millions, even if you help one single person with your message, you have already done a lot, because this is what I believe is the ripple effect that comes afterwards anyway, because this message might be taken over by somebody else and moved on. And that's why I love the Go Giver Success Alliance. So Kathy, how do get people? I actually had already here the ticker going, so that's where they find out about the Go Giver books, and I can only recommend them to get the books on Amazon or directly with you. But tell us a bit about the Success Alliance. What is the Success Alliance? Because I've mentioned it now several times as well.
Thank you so much, and thanks for being a member. It's basically our community. We wanted to bring together people that the message resonated with, but who wanted to take it to a deeper level, and to be in a community of people, of like-hearted, like-minded individuals that want to help each other grow, because it's really the people you surround yourself that's going to help you grow. So that's, after what happened with COVID in 2020, we realized that we really wanted to start the group again. We had it many years ago, but technology wasn't where we wanted it to be. And now we're using the Mighty Networks platform. So we have our own social network. It's not, on any of the others, a Facebook group. It's our own, so we can really interact and not have anything in there that we don't, want, but just really focus on, helping people apply the 5 laws. So every day we have something different every day of the week that we're focused on. Bob gives us a weekly challenge, sort of a bite-sized something to focus on that can help us improve and grow. And then Tuesday, he shares his cup of wisdom from the many books he's read. As you mentioned earlier, he is such a wealth of wisdom. And then Wednesdays, we get together at our virtual Rachel's Famous Coffee. We have our little plugs for our members. Rachel,
I'm still waiting for it, by the way. It still hasn't arrived. It's somewhere in the mail services. It will come. Don't worry.
It's on a boat in the Atlantic, probably somewhere. But hopefully it'll reach you soon. But it's just a great time for us to learn from each other and Bob. So just like in the book, Pindar was the main mentor, but he introduced Joe to 5 other mentors. That's what this community, it's truly a mentorship community. And they're, the people you mentioned, like David and Matthew and Lisa and Jeff West, so many have so much wisdom to share. So we're learning from each other. And, as we grow, we're doing more things. And Thursdays, we focus on appreciation, because the law of receptivity, that the key to effective giving is to stay open to receiving. So we really share something each week to focus on that, to keep our minds tied to being grateful for all that we do have currently. And then Friday, we have our member spotlight. We have a Friday guest. and we spotlight, so we're getting to know our members much better.
And it is such an amazing community. As I said, it's such a diverse community as well, because you wouldn't say, oh, it's not only speakers and coaches. It is, as I said, coaches. It's writers. It is real estate agents, people in sales. It's such a diverse community, and I consider it as like a mastermind pot, basically, where we all sit together and we learn from something else. And I love how Lisa always said, and I think Brendan, which we had as well as one of our guests on the show, and who actually said the other day to Lisa, he said, I love Lisa, you took all the business ideas and business advice, put it on a piece of paper, crumbled it and burnt it, and just went out and do your thing. But actually that's the truth about Lisa, because she just did everything the opposite was Avon told her to do. And she's so successful. I mean, the top 5 Avon salary in the world, not in the United States only, and a multi-million-dollar business she's running there. And it's because she's very authentic to herself.
I was just going to say that's she was her authentic. She's a true innovator, and she's an inspiration, as are all of you that are in the group. That's why we started it, and we're continuing to grow, and we're going to be adding some new things. We're very excited about what's coming down the pike to share. But it truly is about creating this community of people that we want to do business with and learn and grow from.
Yeah, and I think that's what it is anyway. It's like networking. I mean, I just recently started to be on LinkedIn. Kind of interesting. I avoided it for like I don't know how many years. It's like LinkedIn. I'm not looking for a job, am I? So that's how I was thinking. But now obviously I'm starting to grow my LinkedIn following and community, and it's really amazing how networking is really interesting, because the one person will refer you to somebody else. And it's not about, as I said, this is when you become a go-giver. You don't go in a conversation, oh, what I'm going to sell you right now, right? And I'm honest to you, I was the same before. I was doing exactly what people told you, do ads, do this, reach out to people, 1 million messages a day, and that were meaningless messages. It was just a pitch, like the typical elevator pitch. Here you go, this is what I do. Da, da, da. What do you want, right? Do you want it? Do you want it right now? So, and when you just shift that in your head completely, it is such a more sane way to do business, to be very honest, on the giveaway, where I say, and I actually, when I send my message to people I connect with, I thank you for connecting. This is what I do. I explain what I do. However, I said, I hope this connection will be one day of value to you by referring you or giving you another network connection. And that's where I ended. That's my initial message I sent to people. And I think there's so many people kept back to me and they said, no, I think I don't need your services right now, but I'll keep you in mind if I ever hear somebody would need your services. And I think that's the case, because they actually see it's a genuine and authentic message. It's not about trying to sell something here, right? And I think that's where it goes mostly wrong. People see it completely wrong. But we talked already about, how do you see the go-giver message in life? I found very interesting, because we're always talking about the sales and as well connection. How do you see the go-giver in life, actually?
Well, as they say in the book, there are life principles as well. And I think that's why it resonates with people, because it really is in resonance with who we are as human beings and our natural way of being. I think the business models out there are artificial. They're not the way we are as human beings. And so this helps bring us back into alignment with who we truly are as a human being, and just ask us to give of ourselves. And when you give, it returns to you. And that's just the fundamental law of the universe.
It is actually. I mean, you couldn't have put it nicer. See, this is your wisdom, Kathy, as well. And I love your wisdom about these things, because that's why I say you're for me an equal as well. And as well, David, who has an amazing talent writing. I mean, we have to be honest. It's an amazing writer, and I just got I just got his first novel. It's lying there. It's one of the books I have to read right now. I actually got it. Yeah, I've read the reviews, and they are stunning reviews actually. For him, who was so unsure himself of writing a novel, and his wife, who is an amazing. We see these are all the people in the Go Giver Alliance, like Annaman, who is
Yes.
such a fountain of wisdom as well. And every time I sit there and in awe, where she does a lot of trauma work and everything, and I think, wow, what people, it blows me away every time. And that's how humble Bob is as well at that time, because he even says it when he is blown away by members. Listen, it's, as you said, it's a giving. It's constantly a giving from all sides, from every single member in the Success Alliance. I can only suggest anybody to join the Success Alliance. It's probably been one of the best decisions you're ever going to make in your life, because it changes your mindset completely. And we're going into the season of giving anyway. We just have Thanksgiving passing and now Christmas coming up. And I think it's just, we should all stop a moment and think, what am I actually giving to other people with whatever I do? And it's not, what I think is really important is about, and I'd like you to explain it the way, because we always attach with value money. Mm-hmm. And I think that is it's absolutely the wrong way of saying it. How does Bob explain it the best way? You have heard it 1,000 times when he says it. And how do you see it?
I'm not sure. What are you asking, that as terms of how we determine?
We determine value. We always determine automatically value with a monetary outcome of something, and which it isn't the case actually.
No, as individuals, we have value. We all have gifts that we're here to share. The law of authenticity, that the most valuable gift you have to offer is yourself. And so I think, to me, it all starts there, and it's really about becoming aware of what are your gifts that you have to offer in this world, and not comparing yourself to anyone else. We are all unique, just like snowflakes. Each one of us is this amazing, strength stacks of, whether, whatever it is that you bring to the table. And that's what you have. I mean, just your smile. You can brighten and change someone's day just by being fully present and smiling, and truly seeing them for who they are. And that doesn't cost anything. And I think truly the most important things in life, you can't buy with money, love. And love is something, the more you give it, the more you receive it. And that's one of the lessons that I've learned. Whenever I feel like I find myself being like, I'm missing something, or why don't I have this? I realize, take a step back. Am I giving that? Go give it, and then it will come back to me.
And that is such a nice point to make here, because we always forget about stepping back and looking, actually, am I giving it? I'm actually expecting to receive this. I'm expecting to receive a genuine comment. I'm expecting to be treated the right way. I'm expected to be treated by a waitress in the restaurant like I'm the king, like the guest is the king. And actually, am I treating this waitress? Or I made it the other day. I said to Kelly, and I think we made a point on that one. It's like, I'm going to the cashiers at the supermarket, and she's passing the things around like this, beep, beep, beep. And we go like, typical American way, we go like, how are you doing? Fine, fine. And that's it. And I actually challenged people. And I think I did it, posted it in the Go Giver Alliance. Actually, I did actually wrote, I said, I challenge you today to have a genuine conversation with the person and ask some genuine question. You will startle them for a second, because we are so in the habit to actually do it the way how we do it. But you will actually make this person stay, and you will have given this person so much value, because probably the first time that day she has been seen, literally seen by somebody. And I think it's so easy, and that's why I said it has nothing to do with money. It's about being authentic and being being the thing. And I can tell you a little story about during lockdown, the first lockdown here in the UK. So obviously everybody was clapping here on Thursday, and I think they did the same thing in the States for the NHS service employees that have really put their life. And Kellyanne was there in the hospital. I was in another hospital, actually. We were doing with the airlines, we were doing creating a cafe for the NHS staff so they could come in during the day, take 5 minutes out of the
it was great.
We were like the airline
Really
crews
cool.
were all in uniforms and everything. But it's kind of funny because one day I went into the supermarket and there was an NHS nurse, and you could see she had just finished her shift, probably double shift. She looked really tired. So she had a bottle of wine, bought some cheese and everything. And I just passed her and I went to the machine and tapped my card. And she just looked at me and said, "What?" And I said, "What did you do?" And I said, No, that's on me." And she's like, "Why?" And I said, "Because that's for me a way to say thank you for all the work you're doing." I mean, she cried. And then the lady at the lady at the cash desk looked at me like I was a weirdo. And a lot of people thought I was a weirdo. And I was like, "Excuse me."
I know.
Yeah, it's like, what? It doesn't matter. And I did it 2-3 times afterwards again in the supermarket. And we did. And for me, it didn't matter even if it would have been £150. It was a full shopping. It wasn't the point here. It was about doing this genuinely. It wasn't a money issue here. It was just about doing something genuine and actually saying thank you. Just a simple thank you. And I thought if everybody would have done something like that, my God, how much more they would have felt appreciated, because they have really worked hard during this pandemic for us. And we all have forgotten about how much energy and value they have given from themselves and how much they've given of themselves actually to us. And so it would be a better world if we all would become a go-giver, wouldn't it? Let's be very honest and stop thinking about what do I get back. Trust it, something comes back to you, and it will. That's, as you said, it's a universal law. But if you don't go out with the intention, actually, I feel way healthier and better doing that, for me personally. And it changed my life actually when I read the book. And it's so funny, as I said, I never heard about it for all the books I read, and I was sitting in a training and somebody mentioned the book, and I bought it on that day and I read it the same night. I read it in an hour and a half or something like that. I actually ate the book, and it did strike me. And then I bought all the other books and I read all the other books, and I was like, it was just really striking for me. For me, it was a no-brainer to join the Success Alliance because it really resonated with me. And I think that's what you see with everybody in the Alliance. It really resonates with them. And I think it should be resonating with everybody who's watching right now live or on replay. It should resonate with everybody. So I invite everybody to join the Success Alliance. You probably will have to do a second day for the coffee because it's getting really busy already, isn't it? There's so much.
We're doing a poll this week to figure out a good time for our next one.
Oh, that is amazing. That is amazing. Kellyanne, what are you a go-giver at core yourself?
I do try, definitely. And it's funny, it was actually even before I read the book last Christmas, and it was something that I can't remember which book it was, because I'm a bit like you, I'm a bit of a junkie when it comes to books, whether it's audio or kind of physical. And it was little things over the Christmas period. I made it my mission to give people compliments, like random people. Like I remember there was a guy in Primark, best place to shop, and he was wearing a Stranger Things Christmas jumper. And I just looked at him and I was like, that is the best jumper that I have seen this year. It's amazing. And just like had a little chat with him, and like his little face lit up, but same as the little old lady at the Marks and Spencer's till. Like nobody had a proper conversation with the woman. Like the same as like you were saying, Chris, like people don't talk to people. They don't even look at them, because you see them at the till and they're fiddling around and they're faffing about and there's no conversations. And for me, it like you say, it's about connection. And it's like just being yourself, you know, and like not having any agenda when you're talking to people, I think is such a huge thing. again, with the military, there's too much of that is about their agenda and how people can get to where they want to be, and not interested in bringing other people up with them anyway. So definitely the last year of my life's been an eye-opener, kind of living from that perspective. It's a lot nicer place to be. 100%.
Well, we have reached the top
Oh.
of the hour, and actually, Kellyanne, do you have your questions ready?
I do.
Okay, we do have we normally do it in the beginning, but let me just get mine here right now because I have them. You see, this is now me. Actually, we do them normally in the beginning, but it's something personal to find out about you, and then we will end the video cast, and then I ask you, Kathy, just to stay in 2-3 minutes afterwards, so we have a little tap for you. So it's a quick question. We ask the question, and then you just answer, and we go to the next one. So I start off. Pizza or pasta?
Pizza.
Morning or night?
Morning. I'm a morning person.
Favorite color?
Blue.
Favorite music?
Oh, lately it's been Yacht Rock Radio, if you guys know what that is on Sirius XM. It's the 70s, 80s. Soft
Nice.
rock.
Oh, good.
Nice.
Dog or cat?
I love them both, but I'll say cat.
Famous person that you'd love to have coffee with, and why?
Oh, wow. I would love to sit down with our founding fathers in the U.S. and just talk to them about how they founded, what they went through. And I'm just so inspired at, how they were able to do what they did in that time period.
Okay, if I would have gone to my next question then on one stage, because we asked that, but that's great. You answered that already. What is a past person that you like? But for me, next one is pina colada or Long Island iced tea.
Pina colada. I don't like either of those. Can I just take a Cabernet?
A Cabernet.
Nice.
So that's a nice one as well. Yeah.
Shower or bath?
Oh, a luxurious bath.
Fantastic. Nice. Paris or London?
Forgive me, I know you're in the UK, but I'll go to Paris.
I understand that.
Same. Club or romantic dinner at home?
Romantic dinner at home.
Yeah. And the final one, chameleon or flamingo?
Well, since I'm from Florida, you probably think I would say flamingo, but I kind of like the chameleon.
Yes, because this actually, this is a joke between us, obviously, Yes. So she is actually we are actually equal. That is so great because we managed. Here goes. We're equal. But I love you, Kathy, for that. Kathy, thank you for being our guest. It was such a pleasure, and we have learned so much about the Go-Giver. And I will ask Bob at one stage, or maybe you ask Bob for one stage. No, but he will probably see it. I will ask Bob at one stage to be our guest, because I think this man's message and his wisdom needs to be heard as well. And I think I will be very quiet in the corner and let him talk.
I don't believe that.
Oh, gosh. Yes.
Opportunity to spend this hour with you. Thank you so much.
It's lovely to meet you, Kathy.
You too, Kellyanne. Thank you. Thanks, Chris. We'll see you.
Thank you. Bye. See you tomorrow.